Welcome back, everybody. This is Latin's Fight Picks. Today we'll go over the UFC card 299, O'Malley versus Vera 2. As usual, we will start off the card with it's a 14 fight card. We'll start off with the first fight and we'll move on to the main event. So let's start. We got a lot to cover today. This is going to be an interesting card. And I did this card where, I don't look at like the odds. I don't look at anything. I just kind of do my picks and I try and keep myself insulated or isolated from a lot of the information just so I can give an accurate description or an accurate prediction of the fights. Now, in this card in particular, I don't know why, but it seemed like you'll see. Well, like it worked out. It worked out well if it works out, but it was just there was a lot of fights that I saw, going to underdogs for some reason, and yeah. So without giving out too much away, or we'll see it at the end of the video anyways on the board, let's start. First fight of the night. Well, we think it's the first fight. We're not 100% sure. Normally this is the order, but it's close to the first fight. Ion Cutelaba versus Felipe Lins. Ion Cutelaba, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 17 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw, 30 years old. Felipe Lins, 6'2", 78-inch reach, 17 wins, 5 losses, 38 years old. Ion Cutelaba, everyone knows the game plan to beat this guy, get him out of the first round. He comes in, guns a-blazing, lots of power, lots of big swings. If he can get you to the ground, he'll try ground and pound you. And he usually fizzles out at after the first round. If he catches you, he's going to knock you out. If he takes you on the ground, he can ground and pound you. But if he can hold on, he'll probably wear himself out. Felipe Lins, he's had a resurgence in his career. He was at light heavy, now he's at middleweight. And you know what? He's been looking really good. And I bet against him last time against Grishin. It was a close fight, but he looked really good. Put a lot of pressure on Grishin. Grishin's a big guy. Put him up against the cage, and you know what? He took a lot of punches. If you look at his record, he did get knocked out by some people, but I don't know. His chin looks pretty good. Like I don't think he's chinny. I think he's definitely carrying his weight well and his durability well in this lower weight class. But he's 38 years old, and that's going to be the red flag for a few fights. And this is going to be the same scenario in quite a few fights. You got probably the better fighter, and then you got them being possibly too old, and we don't know when. Of course, the deterioration happens quick. So he's 38. He's definitely on the older side. He hasn't shown that he's looking older or slowing down. So I'm going to go based off that. If he is the same fighter as he was the last fight and how well he looked, he should win this fight. He's going to be better technical striker. He's going to have a ground game. He's going to have good ground defense. He's going to have good cage push. I think he beats Cutelaba everywhere, apart from maybe the crazy power from Cutelaba. I think that Lins should win this. I don't think, after the first round, I don't think it's going to be close. But Felipe Lins is the underdog. He's 38 years old. I'm going to pick Felipe Lins. He should be able to beat Cutelaba, who is exciting and he's fun to watch. I just don't think he's that good. And if it was a one-round fight, maybe you could pick Cutelaba. But if it goes past the first round, Felipe Lins is going to win the next 2 rounds, one way or the other. All right, Felipe Lins is the pick. First underdog of the night. Moving on. Joanne Wood versus Mariana Moroz. Joanne Wood, 5'6", 65.5-inch reach, 16 wins, 8 losses, 38 years old. Marina Moroz, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 11 wins, 5 losses, 32 years old. I've never thought Moroz was that good. I mean, she has some good performances against some lower tier fighters. But Joanne Wood, even though she was at one time in the upper echelon of her division, she has definitely become a lower tier fighter. And if you saw her fight against Carolina, yeah, you see her just how much she has slipped. And again, she's 38 years old, and this is going to her retirement fight, from what I'm hearing. And she should be retiring because she's not going to be a serious contender at all. And again, 38 years old. I mean, and she's definitely been slipping, and you've seen it, progress. So she's getting a little worse all the time. So I mean, the pick is going to be Moroz. She's young, hungry. She's got some talent. She's not that great, but I think she's going to be able to beat Wood. She could take this to the ground. My concern is Moroz got an OnlyFans. She's making money somewhere else. How serious is she about this fight? So you got two girls with big question marks, but one of them is 38 and definitely going to stop fighting after this fight. So I'm going to go with Moroz. Yeah, pretty decent degree of confidence on this one. Joanne Wood should go out, have a good retirement fight, and just call it a day. Moving on, CJ Vergara versus Asa Almabayev. CJ Vergara, 5'6", 68-inch reach, 12 wins, 4 losses, 32 years old. Asa Almabayev, 5'4", 65-inch reach, 18 wins, 2 losses, 30 years old. CJ Vergara is a huge underdog in this. He's 5'6". This guy, I've bet against CJ multiple times, and he surprises me at how much he wins, and his desire to win, and his just cardio and his durability and his recoverability. And the guy's always come through. It's amazing. He's performing way higher than everyone expected, at a much higher level. And I think it's called heart. And he's got a great gas tank. So, I like betting him against those lower tier guys. Now, Asu Almabayev, we really don't know very much about him, but I do know that his metrics suck. I mean, he's 5'4", 65-inch reach. He's 30 years old. He's got a good record. He looked really good in his last fight against Ode Osborne, who is probably at the same level as Vergara. So I'm going to go with Asa Almabayev. I don't like his metrics, but he's not going to gas. He's not going to get tired. So that part of Vergara is not going to be able to dominate him in this. Vergara's got good scrambles. So does Almabayev. Vergara's got decent strikes, probably about the same as Almabayev. I think Almabayev is the new up-and-comer. I think he's going to have a little bit more on the ground, and I think he's going to be able to win this. He's a huge favorite. Almabayev is. It's almost not even worth betting. But, I mean, is it worth a dog shot for Vergara? I don't know, Vergara cost, one time I was betting Salvador against Vergara, and Salvador lost a really close split decision, and it cost me a huge parlay. It was like a 12-fight parlay, and Vergara ruined it. Anyways, so not hating on the guy, but he did, it was Salvador's fight to lose kind of thing. But Vergara is a dog, and he goes in there. But I think this other guy is a dog, and he's not going to quit, and he's very tenacious. So I think, given the abilities, I think Almabayev has more abilities. I think the metrics are on Vergara's side. This fight should be a lot closer. That's the only thing problem I have with it. Almabayev should be the favorite, but he's like minus 550, minus 600. It's just ridiculous. I mean, is it worth a dog shot? I mean, yeah, it could be a dog shot for Vergara. There's a time to fade Almabayev, and I think it might not be this time. So Almabayev is going to be the pick. Moving on, Robelis Despagne versus Josh Parisian. Robelis Despagne, 6'7", 87-inch reach, 4 wins, 0 losses, 0 drop, 35 years old. Josh Parisian, 6'4", 79-inch reach, 15 wins, 7 losses, 34 years old. Robelis Despagne, I think he's from Cuba. He's a Taekwondo medalist, like a bronze medalist. He's 35 years old. He's coming into the UFC at 35. So you know this guy doesn't have hardly any experience in mixed martial arts. He's really good at the taekwondo, kind of the kickboxing style, lots of kicks, lots of punches. Huge guy, 87-inch reach. He's got a massive reach. I think he's got the longest reach in the UFC. The guy's been knocking everybody out. First round knockout. First he touches, these guys fall down. But if you look at the records, the guys he's fighting are they're either like their first fight or their second fight in the UFC. I think most of the time it was their first fight in the UFC. So he's been fighting guys who are just coming into the UFC, other big guys. And he's obviously got a lot of power. He's a medalist in Taekwondo, so he knows how to hit. So we'll give him that, but we've never seen him beyond that. And the one guy that actually had like mediocre, like very low, super low level ground skills, had him clinched up with underhooks and didn't know what to do with him. And that guy he beat at the end of the first round. Josh Parisian, I mean, they've picked the lowest level heavyweight for this guy to fight against. So they definitely got the right guy for him to beat. But Josh Parisian is still tough. He's still durable. He's in the UFC. He's fighting UFC caliber guys. I mean, he doesn't have a great gas tank, but he seems like he could push through it. I mean, we don't even know this Spaniard if he's got a gas tank at all. He's never been pushed. He's never nothing. Like it's just so hard. Like he's a huge favorite. I mean, there's red flags all over this, right? Everybody I see online is picked the Spania. Nobody's picked Parisian. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm there like, do you guys not see, like, this guy hasn't even been proven? Like, this is going to be a fun fight to watch. Either the Spaniard is going to KO him in the first 10 seconds, or Josh Parisian is going to survive past the first round and maybe take him down in the second round and lie on top of him and win this by a close decision. It's funny. Whenever I look at this fight, it's funny. And I got to admit, I want to watch it because it looks like it's going to be real entertaining. But I'm going to lean Josh Parisian. He sucks, but he's low-level UFC, and he's fought UFC mixed martial artists. Robelis de España has not fought anybody. He's fought people in Taekwondo, yes, but this is a totally different game. And the guy's a monster. He's huge. It's going to be entertaining to watch. If Parisian can just mind his P's and Q's and not get clipped with a really hard shot and get this into the second round and clinch him up against the fence and grind on this guy, I think he can upset this guy. So I'm going to pick Josh Parisian. You know, he's 34 years old. He's no spring chicken, but he's also been fighting in the UFC. So he's a plus 255 underdog, or even larger than that now, plus 270. So I'm going to pick Josh Parisian. I mean, we don't know. We don't know because Despania we don't know anything about. And the guys he's beat, he's 4 wins, 0 losses. Like I said, they're all guys who just started in mixed martial arts as well. So anyways, Josh Parisian's going to be the pick. Least confidence just because we have no idea what Despania can do. We'll see. I'm going to go with the dog in this one. It's a dog or pass. I mean, why would we bet on somebody who we've never seen at a decent level of competition? Mind you, he is knocking these guys out in 5 seconds and 10 seconds, which should also tell you something. Like, these guys are walking into an instant punch, terrible defense, who knows. But yeah, it's going to be entertaining. I'm looking forward to watch it. Josh Parisian, I'm going to pick him second underdog of the card. Moving on. Michel Pereira versus Michal Olazejczyk. Michel Pereira, 6'1", 73-inch reach, 29 wins, 11 losses, 30 years old. Michael Olazejczyk, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, 19 wins, 6 losses, 29 years old. Michel Pereira is now in his new weight class. He just entered the middleweight because he couldn't cut down. He was a huge welterweight. So now he's in middleweight. Now he's still a huge, big guy in middleweight, but he's not that much taller than everybody in middleweight. And Olazejczyk, he was fighting at light heavy. So he's gone down, and he's kind of like this, he's still got a lot of flab on him. I mean, this guy could probably go down to welterweight, but he did pretty good at light heavy, and he's doing better at middleweight. He's going to have, the metrics are almost identical. I mean, Pereira's going to be 1 inch taller, 1 more inch. Yeah, the reach is one going to Olejniczak, whatever that means. I mean, you never know. They could be identical at this point. They're both about the same age. I've won a lot of money betting on Pereira, and I've won a lot of money betting on Mikhail Olejniczak. I got to admit, everybody keeps underestimating Olejniczak. And Pereira, I'd like to bet him. We always question his cardio, but he's very explosive, very powerful. And I don't know how well he could take a shot. He seems like he's somewhat durable, but I've also seen him get affected by, decent amount of power coming back his way. But he's very mobile, goes along the outside, and he's got pretty good kicks. And he's okay on the ground. I mean, low-level opponents he can take to the ground. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be able to take Olejniczak to the ground, but Olejniczak's also got a good get-up game, and he's fought like some pretty good guys who are pretty good ground guys, and at a heavier weight class. I don't think Pereira will be able to keep him down. I think Pereira's going to be moving on the outside, kicking him from the outside. When he gets in the pocket, I trust Olejniczak's chin more than I trust Pereira's chin. And I think in the pocket, as far as the boxing goes, Olejniczak is just a dog. He can really box. He's really good on the inside. I think Pereira's going to have a really hard time with the durability of Olejniczak and the boxing of Olejniczak. I think it's going to be a close fight. It's going to go down to a decision. I think Olejniczak's going to win this. He is an underdog in this, but these are both guys that I like to bet on. But yeah, I think Olejniczak, I mean, he can go down to a lighter weight class, but he's just naturally a very strong, tough, durable guy. He's just naturally like that. It's not much to look at. Pereira definitely looks like a Greek god, like physique-wise. He might have the more power, but he's going to have a hard time landing Olejniczak. Maybe kicks from the outside. I'm going to go Olejniczak. I think he's going to be able to pull this off. I think he's better than we think, especially at the middleweight weight class. I can't remember last time he fight Nchukwuani, was it? Chidi. Anyways, and Chidi was so much taller, so much bigger. He was lighting him up with kicks and punches, and Olejniczak survived it and got close enough to knock this guy out. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Olejniczak on this one. I don't think Pereira's going to be able to bully him around, even though he's going to look massively bigger, physically, like muscular-wise. Bunch of fighting. Moving on to the prelims. Oh, those were the early prelims. That was that category. Now moving to the regular prelims. Let's go Pedro Munoz versus Kyler Phillips. Pedro Munoz, 5'6", 65-inch reach, 20 wins, 8 losses, 37 years old. Kyler Phillips, 5'8", 72-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 28 years old. Pedro Munoz, metrics, again, I've always hated Pedro Munoz's metrics, and his metrics has always affected him against the top echelon of guys. But we're talking the top 5 to top 8 of the guys in the division. He loses to, and it's a lot to do with the fact that he's a little short, and he's always walking into punches, walking into range, walking people down to get into the boxing range. He's got a great low kick. He's pretty good on the ground. Again, he has to get in close for all of that. He seems like might be slowing down a little bit. He's still tough as nails, never been knocked out, very durable, but he's 37 years old. Going back to the age thing, there's a lot of new up-and-comers against these older fighters, and the older fighters are probably the better guy, as far as fighters go, and possibly even talent and ability, but they're getting at the point where they're at the end of their career. Munoz has shown a little bit of slowing down, but his chin is still durable. He's still, he's still hungry. He still wants to win. So all that still in play. Kyler Phillips, up and coming. He's called the Matrix. The guy is very mobile, does these crazy moves. He's good on the ground. He's good on the feet, moves in and out. I actually bet the last time Kyler Phillips against Raoni Barcelos, and Kyler Phillips won that fight, but he couldn't take Barcelos out. Barcelos did have some moments as far as the striking. Third round went to Barcelos, who was chasing Phillips around. Phillips is really good on the ground, very elusive. Barcelos had a hard time controlling him down there. 28 years old. I want to bet Kyler Phillips. He's a pretty big favorite, but I've got a problem with that. Is Kyler Phillips hasn't really fought anybody. I mean, he fought Raoni Barcelos, who just finished beating Quinones, and Quinones was actually kicking his ass, like from striking, and Barcelos couldn't take him down to the ground, couldn't hold him to the ground, and apart from a third round mistake from Quinones, where Barcelos jumped on his back and got him in a choke, Barcelos was losing that fight. And I don't think Quinones looked any better or any worse than what Kyler Phillips looked against Barcelos. So do I think, doing MMA math, I guess, I don't know. Pedro Munoz, I say, destroys Quinones. I think handily on the feet. I'm having a hard time picking Kyler Phillips, even though I know he's going to be moving in and out, and I know the metrics are going to be on his side. But I think Pedro Munoz and Pedro Munoz's style is going to be able to absorb those punches, and there's going to be moments where he's going to be tagging Kyler Phillips, and Kyler Phillips has to get close at some point to hit Munoz. He will have a huge reach advantage, yes, but Munoz, he's been fighting against this reach advantage all his whole career. And do I think Kyler Phillips is top 5, top 8? I don't know. I don't think he is. Again, 37 years old, 28 years old. This is going to be a close fight. It's a lot closer than the odds are going to suggest. I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with Pedro Munoz. I bet on him against Vera the last fight, and I thought he had his moments, but Vera was just too tough. Just stood in front of him, absorbed punches, and threw back a little harder. But Vera's fighting also for the title. So, he lost to Vera. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Munoz. He is a decent size underdog. He's got a shot at this. Kyler Phillips, I don't know where his ceiling is. This could be the ceiling. Moving on. Mateus Gamrot versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Mateus Gamrot, 5'10", 70.5-inch reach, 23 wins, 2 losses, 33 years old. Rafael Dos Anjos, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 35 wins, 15 losses, 39 years old. Again, 39 years old. If this was 3 years ago, Rafael Dos Anjos, easy pick. I'm going to pick Rafael Dos Anjos. He's a very talented guy. He's fighting at welterweight. He's fighting at lightweight. Most of his losses have been at welterweight against really high-level big guys in the division. So, and I see him, he's got losses in lightweight, don't get me wrong, but he's so well-rounded, he's so tough and all that, but he's 39 years old. Is he slipping? Is he slowing down? Yes, he got stopped by Fiziev in the 5th round. He got hit with a perfect shot, and he got KO'd. That's not something you see normally, but that's as he got older. So that's the first time I saw him get knocked out. I can't remember if there's another time, but that's the first time I saw him get KO'd in the 5th round against Fiziev. Gamrot just fought Fiziev. He beat Fiziev. I don't know if he actually beat Fiziev, but Fiziev actually had a bet on Gamrot in that fight. And I was watching the fight, and it was really close, and Fiziev got hurt. So it was hard to tell how Fiziev would have looked into the... Well, I know how Fiziev would have looked. He would look tired after the 3rd round, after the 2nd round. And that's when I was thinking Gamrot was going to keep up the pressure. But in the first 2 rounds, it was pretty even. Fiziev might have even had an advantage, except for Fiziev got injured, a leg injury. I bet on Gamrot in that spot. Now, Gamrot's a huge favorite in this. And again, I'm going back to, well, this guy's 39 years old. Rafael Dos Anjos is a great mixed martial artist. He's very tough. Matthias Gamrot has some power, but he's not like a striker, like where you have to really worry about him. Rafael dos Anjos does have some power, but he's generally not known as a power guy, but he can land. Matthias Gamrot, I'm questioning his chin. I think Rafael dos Anjos at 39 has a better chin than Gamrot at 33 because it's just a naturally better chin. Gamrot's going to continually attack dos Anjos, continually wrestle, and going to stand on the outside. I think they're going to be fairly even in the striking. I don't think Matthias Gamrot's going to be a better striker. I think Gamrot's going to be a better wrestler, but I don't know what defensive wrestling on dos Anjos is going to look like. People are really weighing a lot. He really got dominated by what's that guy? But it was at welterweight. He's eluding me. Is it Munoz? Is it Muniz or Munoz? What was his name? It was the last fight he fought. And well, the point of that is the guy's pretty good. He's a good striker. He's a good grappler. He's actually really good striker. And he took dos Anjos down and controlled him quite a bit. But it's the size difference. I mean, at welterweight, this guy was so much bigger. He was 5'11". He was an inch taller than Gamrot, but he was just a massively bigger guy. He had a much larger reach than Gamrot. And I can't remember his name. What's his name? Who did he fight? Let's see this real quick. Let's go here. He fought Vicente Luque. 5-round decision. Yeah, and Vicente Luque was so much bigger, and he just could hold him down. And I'm not saying that Matthias Gamrot can hold him down because he's an excellent wrestler, but Matthias Gamrot generally puts people down and they get back up. Rafael dos Anjos will definitely be able to get back up. So will Gamrot put him down enough times to win those rounds, or will Rafael dos Anjos be able to reverse some positions, get some top time himself, and balance that out, and then have have the fight decided on the feet, where dos Anjos is fairly durable, more durable than Gamrot, I think, even at 39 years old. He's a massive, massive underdog, but I'm going to pick Rafael dos Anjos because as much as I want to pick Gamrot, I think Rafael dos Anjos can land on him and affect him like decent strikes, where Gamrot's going to be shooting like crazy. He might get some takedowns. Dos Anjos might be able to reverse some takedowns. This is going to be a really close fight. I can't believe the odds are as wide as they are. Everyone's going with Gamrot. Again, do I think Gamrot's going to win? I mean, this to me, it's a coin flip fight. At Dos Anjos is like plus 360 in a fight that I think is really close. So I'm going to go with dos Anjos. I don't know. I'm 39 years old. Again, I'm going with the older guy. I'm going with the more experienced guy. Yes, this could change at any one time for any one of these guys at their ages, 36, 37, 38, 39. But it might not be this fight. It might be the next fight. And at plus 340, I got to go with dos Anjos. A low level confidence, yes, but I'm going to take the dog shot on this. This is the theme of the whole card: older fighters against new up and coming fighters. And we're going to see exactly where the new up and coming fighters are and where the old fighters are. They too old? Moving on. Caitlin Serminera, who is basically Caitlin Chukagian. And I've got a Chukagian on the board. I was trying to put Serminera, and people are just getting confused. I was confusing myself as well. Against Macy Barber, Caitlin Chukagian, 5'9", 68-inch reach, 18 wins, 5 losses, 35 years old. Macy Barber, 5'5", 65-inch reach, 13 wins, 2 losses, 25 years old. Again, metrics. Caitlin Chukagian is tall, lanky, she's got good takedown defense, and she is a point fighter. She'll stay on the outside, kicking you, jabbing at you, poking at you, and moving away and going into distance, and that's how she wins her fights. And basically, it sounds like a tennis match because she's always screaming every time she throws a punch. Half the time, she's not even landing, but it just sounds good because she's making those tennis noises. I love betting against Chukagian. Barber, I've picked against her and I picked for with her, and sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't. I think Barber is much more aggressive, very durable, and very young, and she's getting better all the time. Having said that, I think the metrics here are going to benefit Chukagian. Chukagian's 35 years old. She's at the cusp where she might be start getting too old, but she's fought the best of the best in this division. And she's lost against the absolute best, and she has outpointed the top 5 girls where she's on the outside jabbing and poking and just pulling out these wins. She is an underdog. Macy Barber, here's the thing is I want to bet against her because I think Chukagian has the experience. She's beat these girls before, and it's all on the outside, and it's all the jab. Again, decent size underdog, coin flip fight. It's going to go down to a decision. I got to take the underdog in this one. You know, I know Macy Barber is an up-and-comer, but she's going to have a ceiling. She's very aggressive. She's always throwing punches, but so is Caitlin Chukagian. You know, she's throwing quite a few punches from the outside as well. This is going to be a coin flip fight. I got to go with the underdog on this one. 35 years old. She's not over the hill. She might be getting there. I can't remember the last time she fought. It's been a while. I think she got married, which is maybe she's taken some time off. Yeah, I mean, she's fought for the title. I'm going to go with Caitlin Chukagian, even though I'm not a big fan of her pitter-patter, point fight from the outside, making all the noises. I generally like betting against her. I think he's going to be able to pull this off. At these odds, I can't bet on Barber because it's going to go down to a split decision. So, yeah, Caitlin Chukagian, again, underdog, decent size underdog. Mid-level confidence. Moving on. The main prelim, or the headlining prelim. What would you call it? The main prelim, headlining prelim. I can't remember. It's eluding me. It would be. Anyways, I can't remember what they would call it. Anyways, the main prelim, the main event of the prelims, you know, Curtis Blades versus Jailton Almeida. Curtis Blades, 6'4", 80-inch reach, 17 wins, 4 losses, 33 years old. Jailton Almeida, 6'3", 79-inch reach, 20 wins, 2 losses, 32 years old. Same age, almost the same height. They're built very differently. Jailton Almeida is built like a bodybuilder, just all muscle, explosive. Curtis Blades, he's just a big dude. He's not cut. He's just heavy, a little flabby, but he's fast. He's got a decent gas tank. He's a good wrestler. Jailton Almeida, he's got a good gas tank, very explosive, okay striker. He's a BJJ guy, gets you on the ground. He's very strong. He can put you in positions with his arms, and he can force you to tap with certain submissions because of how strong he is. He's very, very strong, very good on the ground. Last time he fought Lewis, he would be doing desperation shots and barely getting Lewis down on the ground, and then sitting on top of Lewis and this kind of hitting him, kind of trying to submit him, and failed in all the submissions. It was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. It was so boring. Blades, very explosive. He's been really working on his striking. He's good from the outside. He's only lost against the top echelon of guys, gotten KO'd by quite a few of them. He is a great wrestler, but I don't think he's got great top control, especially a guy who knows how to get back up. If they're big enough to get up, I think a few guys that he's taken down that are really big, he has a hard time controlling on the ground, especially if they have any knowledge of how to get up. Almeida, he has a hard time taking people down. I don't think he's a great takedown guy. It just, when he shoots, it looks awkward. He's good on the ground, but his takedowns, he's just trying to muscle a lot of them through it. There's not a lot of good technique. Blades, I mean, this is going to be a coin flip fight. Blades has gotten knocked out a few times. Almeida, I think Almeida's undersized for this division. And I've been betting on Almeida nonstop. I've been waiting to fade Almeida. I'm going to fade Almeida this time because Blades can defend against some shots. Blades just has to be careful for the submission. Blades could even take Almeida to the ground. I don't know if he can control him on the ground. He might be able to just lie on him because he's going to be so much bigger. And he's going to have some knowledge of wrestling. Will he be able to keep safe? If it stays on the feet, Blades is going to be able to hit him from the outside. Blades is not a bad striker. Almeida's not a good striker. This is going to be a close fight. It's a pick'em. So I think now it was minus 110. And then I think Blades is now minus 105 to minus 115. So it's a pick'em fight. Everybody seems to be going on Almeida. I generally bet against Blades. And I generally bet for Almeida. But I'm going to flip it on this one. I think Almeida has reached his peak. He's not going to win the championship. This guy is too small for this division. He needs to go to light heavyweight where he's going to dominate. There's too many guys here that are going to be knocking him out, right? And they're going to be stuffing takedowns. So I think Blades is going to be the first sign of this. He's going to be too big, and Blades hasn't looked that great, but he's going to look pretty good against Almeida. Almeida, if he can keep, I don't think Blades has to go to the ground. I think he just stand there and strike with him. If Blades does go on the ground, I think he's the one who's going to be taking him to the ground. But I don't know if he wants to hang out on the ground with him. But he might be big enough just to kind of lie on him and hit him. He's just got to be careful of his arms and where he's at all times. But Jilton Almeida is very strong. So physically, he's strong as far as his limbs. He's very muscular, but he's not strong as far as his size, if that makes sense. But yeah, Blades is going to be the pick. Not a lot of people are picking Blades. I think they're really looking down on some of his losses, but he's lost against the top level guys. He also got knocked out by Lewis, and Almeida didn't get knocked out by Lewis. But if you saw the desperation shots Almeida was doing on Lewis, it was desperate, and managed to get Lewis down, and Lewis couldn't get back up, and Almeida's a good grappler. He was able to keep him on the ground. A couple of times he got up. So, but he couldn't submit him because he was just a big blob of flesh, and he just couldn't wrap his hands around him enough. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Blades. I never bet on Blades. I always bet against Blades. But I'm gonna flip it around this time. Same age. Blades gonna be the pick. He is a slight favorite. Moving on to the main card. Peter Yan versus Song Yadong. Peter Yan, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 16 wins, 5 losses, 31 years old. Song Yadong, 5'8", 67-inch reach, 21 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 26 years old. I've been waiting for these guys to fight for a long time. Song Yadong is only 26 years old. He's been in the UFC for years. I think since he was 20 or 21 or something like that. And he's gotten better and better and better. I think we're getting finally the finished version of Song Yadong, so he's coming along at the right time to fight Peter Yan at 31. The metrics are very much the same. Peter Yan's always suffering from metrics, and he's always seems to be much shorter the guy. In this case, he's going to be a little shorter. Reach is going to be about the same. So metrics, I think Song Yadong is an inch taller. I mean, Peter Yan might not even be 5'7", but the metrics are going to be close. Song Yadong is a slight underdog. Here's the thing: Song Yadong has got a massive right hand. He's got a lot of power and can KO people. I think he's good on the ground, but when he gets to the upper echelon of guys, he can be taken to the ground and controlled. I think we saw Sandhagen do that. I think Peter Yan can win this fight. Peter Yan, I think, is at minus 120. He would be a much bigger favorite if he didn't lose his last 3 fights. But if he watched all his fights, he can arguably have won all those fights, you know, and they were all different style of fights, and they were all close fights, and he was the champion, and he's never been KO'd, and he's never been submitted, and all that other stuff. I think they're underestimating and counting Peter Yan out. I think Peter Yan is still the real deal. And people are saying, well, how is he going to look? 3 fights. He's lost 3 fights. You know, where's his confidence? And I don't know, man. This guy seems like a real trooper. And Song Yadong is a really tough guy, and I could see some holes in his game. I think Peter Yan could take Song Yadong down. I think he can. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I think to win some rounds, Yan can take Song Yadong down. I don't know how long he's going to hold him for, but I think he's going to be able to get some points. As far as speed goes, I think Peter Yan is faster. I think Peter Yan's good in the pocket. So is Song Yadong. You guys got to be careful of one thing. Song Yadong is going to be more powerful. But as far as like boxing, I still think Yan might have the advantage in speed. He's a slight favorite. I'm going to lean Peter Yan. I think he can pull this off. He's not going to lose 4 in a row. Well, he might lose 4 in a row, but I don't think he's going to lose this one. Song Yadong, 26 years old. He's been getting better and better and better. But at some point, he's going to hit his ceiling. I didn't like his performance against Gutierrez. He won that fight, but it almost seemed like he was scared of Gutierrez. You know, and he kind of did decent against Sandhagen, and Sandhagen was scared of his power, kept taking him to the ground. I see some holes still. I mean, I don't know if he's going to fix those holes or if this is the best version of Song Yadong that we're going to see. It's going to be a really close fight, entertaining. Don't blink. This is going to be non-stop, 3 rounds. I hope Peter Yan doesn't take too long to download too much stuff in the first round, which he normally does, and loses the first round. That's what I'd be more scared of. I think Peter Yan's going to win this fight. I think he's still a top level guy. He could still be the champ. You know, he was the champ. He could still be the champ. He lost to the champ. It's close decisions on everybody. Yeah, and arguably has won all those fights. So Peter Yan's going to be the pick at minus 120. I don't think we're ever going to get him this cheap. Moving on, Gilbert Burns versus Jack Maddalena. Gilbert Burns, 5'10", 71-inch reach, 22 wins, 6 losses, 37 years old. Jack Della Maddalena, 5'11", 73-inch reach, 16 wins, 2 losses, 27 years old. Jack Maddalena is going to be the bigger guy. He's at least 2 inches taller. He's going to have 2-inch reach advantage. He's a striker. He wants to keep from the outside. He's pretty good kicks. He's mainly a boxer. So he wants to box, and he's got good hands, got good body shots. He's very durable. He's got pretty good takedown defense. Last fight he fought against is Holland, and they had a split decision. I bet on Jack Della Maddalena. I've been winning money off Jack Della Maddalena since his first, when he was debuting. I can't remember if I bet on him or the other guy. No, I bet on him. So I bet on him every single time, and every single time he's won me money. Gilbert Burns. I've bet on him and I bet against him. And most of the time I'm betting on him as well. I bet against him against Chimaev, and he arguably could have won that fight, but anyways, he lost it in that split decision. I mean, he's 37 years old. We're going back to this age thing. As a mixed martial artist, Gilbert Burns is a better mixed martial artist. If this was Gilbert Burns 2-3 years ago, I mean, I wouldn't even have hesitation, because Jack Della Maddalena has good takedown defense. Gilbert Burns is a master on the ground. This guy, if it goes to the ground, Jack's done. Like this guy's good. As far as striking goes, I mean, Gilbert Burns is not as good a striker as Maddalena, but he stood against Chimaev and hurt Chimaev. And like, I don't know why he's an okay amount. What is it? Plus 140 underdog. it's his age. Now, is he a little too old? Is he going to show a little more wear? Is he going to be a little slower? 2-3 years ago, I don't think Della Maddalena is going to beat Burns. But does he beat a 37-year-old Burns? Maybe. But the last time I looked at Maddalena when he was fighting Holland, I picked Maddalena and I said, this is his ceiling. Holland is where it was like a fight where it could have gone either way. I said, I don't think this guy's going to be able to go very much higher than this. I think everybody above Holland beats Maddalena. This includes Burns. But does a 37-year-old Burns beat Maddalena? That's my only question. You know, a 35-year-old Burns beats Maddalena. 36-year-old Burns beats Maddalena. Now he's 37. Is at what point do we see him start to deteriorate? Maybe it's not this fight, or maybe it is this fight. I'm going to go with Gilbert Burns. This is a coin flip fight. You're getting plus money on Gilbert Burns. Jack Della Maddalena is an excellent striker, good body shots and all that. Gilbert Burns, he's a good mixed martial artist. If he can take Jack Maddalena down, Maddalena's done. And I mean, he'll be able to get controlled and everything else, and he's going to try to get up, and he's going to lose rounds. Gilbert Burns got a good gas tank and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is where the Maddalena train stops. You know, about this level. He's not going to go to the top. He's entertaining, and I like him, but I don't think he's going to go beyond this. What is he, number 8? Is he number 8 or 10 in the standings? Right? Let me just check. Maddalena. Yeah, let's see. What's he fighting in? Welterweight, right? Yeah, I think he's number 8 or number 12. It's somewhere in there. Yeah, number 9. So he's number 9 and Burns is number 6. Yeah, this is about it. You know, I don't know if he can get to number 6. He might be able to, depending on who it is. But yeah, he's gonna have a hard time beating anybody from 6 or the top 5 guys. Burns is number 6, but the top 5 guys, he's gonna have a hard time beating these guys. So he's number 9 now. I think this is where the train stops. Burns is gonna be the pick. Low degree of confidence. It's going to be a close fight. Burns can get hurt. Burns is 37 years old. You never know what can happen. But I think he wins this fight. Moving on. Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. Kevin Holland, 6'3", 81-inch reach, 25 wins, 10 losses, 31 years old. Michael Venom Page, 6'3", 79-inch reach, 21 wins, 2 losses, 36 years old. Page is coming into the UFC at 36 years old. I mean, the guy's been fighting mixed martial arts in another organization. He's not like the other guy. What's his name? Despania, who just showed up, right? At what age? At the young age of 35. So, who hasn't been fighting mixed martial arts? So yeah, I mean, Kevin Holland, he's going to have a ground advantage. Is he smart enough to win this fight, or does he just want to go out there and have a good time and throw down and give one for the fans? That's going to be the question. Kevin Holland's a slight favorite. He should be a slight favorite. Michael Venom Page can get taken to the ground. I think Kevin Holland can take him to the ground. I think he can take him down from a clinch position. They're both the same height. Kevin Holland's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. This is different for Page because Page is normally fighting on the outside, but he's got a huge reach. He's going to have to come into range, and when he does, Holland's going to be able to hit him when he comes into range. Now, will Page be fast enough? Yes, he's very fast. So is Holland, but I think Page might be a little faster. might be able to fight better from distance. He moves in and out. I think he's just more mobile than Holland. So the advantage on the feet might go to Page, but Page is, well, he's fought some really tough guys, but Kevin Holland's in the UFC, which is the top level guys, and he's fought the top level guys. Mind you, the one guy he fought about the same size and the same style was, what's his name? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson picked him apart from the outside. He kicked his ass and kicked him apart and picked him apart from the outside. Michael Venom Page fights almost the same, like the same karate style, moving in and out as Wonderboy. So he's got a path to victory. He just has to do what Wonderboy did. So Kevin Holland can just stay there and take it, or he can do what he did to Wonderboy and actually get him on the ground and control him. Is Kevin Holland going to be smart enough to do that? I hope he is. But I mean, I've always questioned that intelligence part of it. Is what does he want to do? I mean, even with, I think he fought Jack Della Maddalena. I think he could have done more to try to take him to the ground. But he lost a split decision. It was really close. Will he do it to Michael Venom Page? We'll see. I mean, who's his trainer? I mean, are they going to say, look, win some rounds. It's okay. Fight on the feet. Win some rounds. Take it to the ground. That's the issue. And again, Page is 36 years old. He doesn't look like he's slipping, but he's 36 years old. At some point, he's going to start slipping as well. Michael Holland's at the peak of his career. He's looked still good. He's 31 years old. I don't know about his chin. I mean, he has been tagged a few times and hurt. So, I mean, I imagine it's wearing down. But they're both elusive and they both fight from the outside. If they're staying on the feet and not in the clinch, Page is going to be able to win this and outpoint him. Kevin Holland needs to get it to the clinch and possibly to the ground and steal some rounds and win this. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. The devil I know. I've seen him fight. Then the level of fighters that I've seen him fight, Michael Venom Page has fought decent fights, decent fighters, but I don't know if they're at that level. They're high level. I don't know if they're at that level. And I'm also not as aware of the other divisions or the other leagues as well. But I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. I'm hoping he goes on the outside, catches Page coming in. Page is going to catch him. I think there's going to be a decent striking battle at some point. I think Kevin, if he gets him in a clinch, take Page down and get some points and win this on the cards. Somebody can get KO'd here too. So we'll see what happens. But Kevin Holland's going to be the pick. A decent level of confidence. He is the favorite in this one. Yeah. Moving on. Dustin Poirier, 5 versus Benoit Saint Denis. Dustin Poirier, 5'9", 72-inch reach, 29 wins, 8 losses, 35 years old. Benoit Saint Denis, 5'11", 73-inch reach, 13 wins, 1 loss, 28 years old. Again, 35 years old for Poirier. The metrics are gonna go on Benoit Saint Denis. He's the bigger man in there. He's really strong and he's very durable. He's gonna have a slight reach advantage. He's gonna have the height advantage. He's gonna have the size advantage. He's at the peak of his game. Dustin Poirier has fought some wars. He's fought everybody, all the top level guys. He hasn't beaten them all the time, but he has beaten some. 35 years old. He's talking about retirement. You got to worry about that. But this guy, I think he goes into this fight, if he is retiring, I don't think he's the kind of guy that's not going to give 100% effort. He might be retiring. He might not be. At 35 years old, is he slowing down? Well, he got KO'd by Gaethje, but it was a head kick KO. Again, and how much is that going to affect his durability? He has been durable traditionally. At 35 years old, how is that durability holding up? Also, is that KO going to affect him? Does he had enough time to recover? Benoit Saint Denis is the new up-and-coming guy. I got to admit, though, he's looked really strong in the last few fights. He's got devastating leg kicks, got devastating body kicks. He's got devastating kicks in general. Like, they've been hurting guys. But this is a big step up in competition. This is now the top-level guys. And yes, they can get hurt. And yes, he may be able to hurt them. But Dustin Poirier is going to be a totally different level. He beat Frivola last time with a head kick knockout. I was watching that fight. He was bullying Frevola, but Frevola was fighting back. And apart from that head kick knockout, which he caught while Frevola was trying to run away, I mean, that fight up to that point was pretty even. I think Frevola might have even been winning because of the takedowns. In this fight, Benoit Saint-Denis is going to try to be taking down Poirier down. Poirier is a really good boxer on the feet. I'm more scared that Poirier is going to be in the pocket throwing his combinations and Benoit Saint-Denis is going to change levels and take him to the ground. That's what I'm more scared of. And then Poirier is going to be fighting to get back up. But if Benoit Saint-Denis, actually he's been showing to be a pretty smart fighter, but if he doesn't take him down and he stays in the pocket, tries to outlast Poirier, I think Poirier is going to be the better striker in the pocket with his boxing. And it's going to be a different level that Benoit Saint-Denis has seen up to now. Not more power, but just the level of striking is going to be much higher. I want to bet on Benoit Saint-Denis. Everybody seems to be picking him. I am going to go with Poirier. He's 35 years old. He hasn't really shown any signs of slowing down. He did get knocked out last time. That's a concern. 35 years old is about the time. I'm concerned about him wanting to retire. He's going to be, a little smaller. Benoit Saint-Denis super tough, but this is a different level of competition. I want to see how Benoit Saint-Denis. I mean, he's a warrior. This guy's going to go out on his shield and fight right to the bitter end. So he's going to go out there, but we'll see with the level of striking that Poirier is going to bring with his boxing where this is at. And Poirier is the underdog. Again, going back with this older guy, probably better skills, and they're the underdog. And Benoit Saint-Denis, everyone's got this hype train on him now. Granted, he has looked devastating in his last fights, but now he has moved up to the top 5 guys. Either he's going to beat Poirier or he's not going to beat Poirier. Either he's a top 5 guy or he's not a top 5 guy. Poirier's proven himself. I'm going to go with him. He is a decent size underdog. Again, I got to go with the underdog in this one. It's the theme of this fight. Moving on to the main event. Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chico Vera. Sean O'Malley, 5'11", 72-inch reach, 17 wins, 1 loss, 29 years old. Marlon Vera, 5'8", 70.5-inch reach, 21 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, 31 years old. I mean, Vera has only one way to win. He's going to stand there, absorb shots, throw back, power kicks, power shots at O'Malley. And hopefully O'Malley breaks. Or he kicks like last time. He kicked his leg and he basically numbed his leg to the point where O'Malley couldn't use his leg. Marlon Vera wins by out-toughing the other guy. He out-toughs everybody, which means he's so tough, he's so durable, he's so strong. Hitting him, you're probably going to hurt yourself. And he's counting on you hitting him and hurting yourself. And when he hits you, the few times he does hit you, it's going to be with a lot of power. And he's either going to knock you out or he's going to break something or give you a body shot or hurt your leg. And the guy's just built different. He's built like a piece of rock, like a piece of wood, like a piece of oak wood. So just kicking this guy and hitting him, you could literally hurt yourself. And he's got a great chin, so he's not getting KO'd. And yeah, Sean O'Malley's going to be on the outside, hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and clipping him, kind of like the first fight. And then if Marlon Vera hits him hard enough, he can hurt him more. So O'Malley might hit him 3 times. Vera's going to hit him once. If it's clean enough, it could literally be more effective than those 3 punches that O'Malley hit Vera with. If he kicks him, it's going to be hard kicks. O'Malley is taller, much taller, better reach, but he's also skinnier. I mean, we saw what happened last time. Vera kicked him in the leg so hard, and I mean, his leg looked like twigs, right? So there's not a lot there. He could do it again. Maybe why not? He's going to be kicking the hell out of his legs. So he's got to be really careful. So this can go either way. Sean O'Malley is a huge favorite, but overall, Sean O'Malley's just a better striker from the outside. I don't think Vera's going to be taking him down. I think O'Malley's got good takedown defense. I don't think Vera's interested in taking him down. he needs to out tough O'Malley. Now, we'll see if O'Malley will be able to physically hold up to the punishment, the punishing kicks and the punishing punches. If he can hold up, he's going to outpoint Vera because he's going to just land more. He's going to be faster. It's going to be longer. Now, will Vera be able to hurt O'Malley? It's kind of like that fight with what's his name? Vera, who was he fighting? Rob Font. Rob Font was killing Vera. And the one or two punches Vera landed would change the whole round and give Vera the round because of the amount of damage that one punch did to Font. Otherwise, Font was outlanding him every which way. And literally, that was also draining his gas tank because Vera would land so hard, it would completely drain him. And he's like all ballooned up from the few shots Vera did hit, and Vera won that fight. But realistically, Font was, killing him on the amount of strikes from the outside. So is that going to happen with O'Malley? Probably not, but O'Malley's got to be very careful. I think this is going to be a decision. 5 rounds, O'Malley's going to win. Decent amount of confidence, pretty confident. Apart from something devastating like an injury, I think O'Malley wins this. All right, let's go to the board. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is scary. I'm scared. When this fight came up, I'll move this actually for the board. When this came up, I'm there like, when it was all said and done, and I went through my board and I looked at all the people that I picked their underdogs, it was scary. Okay, disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Remember, this is fights and this is gambling. Well, somewhat of a gamble, an educated guess. But these are fights and anything can happen. So this is my most confident, the least confident. Take what you agree with. Do your own research. See if you can put it in with yours. Maybe do it a little differently. I had mine broken up. Sometimes I break it up here. Sometimes I break up individually, or I put them in groups. Take what you need, and like I said, I sometimes do breaks where I'll do a parlay only so much, or I'll take a couple of these guys and put it with these guys. I didn't put the line breaks on this one because honestly, it could be anywhere, just because of the amount of underdogs on this one. Having said that, the last time there was that many underdogs was the Canadian card. And out of those 14 fights on the Canadian card, I can't remember, it was 13 or 14 fights, there were 7 underdogs that won. I have 8 underdogs picked here. So I have never seen 8 underdogs win on a 14 fight card. So the statistics are not in my favor, and I know that. But I kind of just went with what I thought on an individual fight basis, and this is how it turned out. But like I said, it would be the first time 8 underdogs have won in 14 fights that I've seen on the UFC. So take that into account. Most confident, you know what? It was between this guy and this guy. O'Malley should win this. We've seen this fight before. Apart from him getting hurt, he's going to win the decision. This is the best fight for him, if anything. The next fight's going to be much harder. Almabayev, minus 600. He should beat Vera. Vera's always, not Vera. What's his name? Vergara. Vergara, but it's going to be close. The metrics don't work in his favor, but he's still going to be able to outdog this guy. Even though Vergara is a really big dog, this guy won't get tired. He'll keep going after the takedowns. He should be able to outpoint Vergara. Moro should be able to beat Wood. Wood is retiring, and Moro should be able to beat this. Normally I don't like women this high up because it always ends up being closer than it should be, but Moro should be able to win this fight. This is her fight to lose. Holland fought, really good competition in the UFC. I know that he's fought good competition. I know he's put up good fights. I know he's good on the ground. He's a decent striker. I mean, he's good everywhere. He should be able to beat Page. Page is 36 years old. Yeah, he's at the tail end of his career, but it's good to see him in the UFC. I think Holland's going to be able to pull this off. Poirier, decent size, decent amount of confidence. He is my first underdog on this board. Benoit Saint Denis hasn't been proven at this level. He looks really good. Don't get me wrong. I know Poirier has fought the best guys. At 35 years old, as long as he's not already retired in his mind, I think he can win this fight. Moving on, Linz. I mean, a lot of people don't even want to pick this fight. I just don't like Cutelaba. I don't think he's that good. I think it's Lin's fight to lose. If he knows the game plan of clinching and holding and wearing on Cutelaba and kind of taking it over in the second and third round, he should be able to win this. Mid-level confidence, Yan. Yan was the former champion, and I know Song Yadong's coming up and comer, but this guy's already proven it. He's proven against the toughest guys. I got to go with Yan on this one. Munoz. Now we're going into the heavy underdogs. Munoz, again, tough guy, fought the top echelon of guys, lost to the top echelon of guys. Phillips has not fought that level of competition. His metrics are working against him, but at a coin flip fight, he is a plus 185 dog. I got to go with Munoz on this one. Again, going up there in age. Chukagian, again, going up there in age, but fought the top echelon of the girls, knows how to point fight from the outside, squeezes out all of these decisions against girls that are shorter than her. She knows how to play this game. She's done it a long time. She's at the tail end of her career. I don't know if she's too old. I don't think she is. At 35 years old, if she could still do it, she's going to be able to outpoint Barber from the outside. Again, underdog. Got to go with her plus money. Blades is going to be the naturally bigger guy. He's going to be the better striker. He's normally a wrestler. He should be able to beat Jilton Almeida, who's a great jiu-jitsu guy. I don't think he belongs to this division. I think now's the time you're going to start to see that he shouldn't be in this division. Even though he's a good jiu-jitsu guy, he's too small for this division. Blades is going to be the pick. It's going to be too big. Olajaychik. Again, a coin flip fight against Pereira. This guy, everybody seems to underestimate this guy. He is the underdog. Gotta go with the underdog in this one. Again, Pereira is going to have a hard time. He's going to try to be elusive. He's going to get in close. This guy's a really good boxer. And I think he is the guy who's going to be able to take a better shot as well. Dos Anjos, plus 360. I mean, to me, it's a coin flip fight. I mean, at 39 years old, he is old. He's a huge underdog on this one. Gamrot has been hurt before. He's going to just try to wrestle. Dos Anjos, very durable. Again, he's probably getting a little older. And I got to take the dog shot at plus 360. You know, I really think it's a coin flip fight. I don't think Gamrot dominates him. I think Gamrot takes him down. I think this guy keeps getting back up. Now, will he be able to reverse positions to get some points back from that takedown? Will he be able to hit Gamrot and hurt him? Because Gamrot has been hurt quite often, and he's a pretty good striker. Dos Anjos is very well rounded. He could even take Gamrot down. You know, he's still got good cardio. Plus 360. I don't know how else to play that. Burns. You know, I got him at low level confidence just because he is getting up there in age. That's the issue I have with Burns. It's just his age at 37 years old. You know, Della Maddalena, still tough. He's got really good body shots. He can hurt Burns on the feet. Burns is still going to be able to throw back, but he's got to get it to the ground. Low level confidence, plus 140. Got to go with Burns. Finally, Parisian against Espana. Espana, we don't know anything about this guy. Parisian, we know he sucks, but he's fighting in the UFC. He's fought UFC level guys. He's taken it to the third round. I got to go with the dog on this one. Super low level confidence. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 underdogs. Full disclosure, statistically, I've never seen 8 underdogs come through. Who knows? I mean, if half of them comes through, I mean, we're laughing, especially the bigger ones. I gotta admit, I kind of like this card. It's going to be really exciting. It's all the new guys moving up and all the old guys that are there. Now, what's going to happen? Are the old guys too old? Are the new guys that good? Do they need to get better? Are the old guys too old and it doesn't matter if those guys are any better? They're just slowing down just enough where these guys can take them and take their spot? You know, what's the UFC up to? I think they want to highlight their new up-and-coming talent, but I don't think the UFC is going to get everything they want. I think these old guys are pretty good still. Nevertheless, don't forget to hit the like button. If you like the content, subscribe. If you want to get notified the next time I post a video, we'll have the recap video probably Tuesday. Hopefully we'll be celebrating on Tuesday, talking about how all these underdogs came through. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me. Good luck in your bets. Good luck in these fights. And we will see you next Tuesday.